It's time for baseball's last frontier, stories from the Pecos League, the podcast that will open your door to baseball's entry level, telling you the stories of the teams, players, and coaches of an independent minor league circuit. I'm your host, Bruce McClure, and I have the pleasure of introducing you to my friend, partner, and co-host, Evan Katz. Evan, how are you?
Great. Good afternoon, Bruce. Again here from Swampscott, Mass, on the Atlantic Ocean, for another episode of baseball's last frontier. It's unfortunate I couldn't be in Roswell, but what it's done is it's really opened the program up to some people that we might not have otherwise been able to talk to. So I'm glad we're in this new approach for the podcast. This week I want to introduce.
Go ahead.
This week I want to introduce someone I played with. In 2023, I think our diehard listeners might recall that I pitched in 2017 in the Pecos League to live a life stream, and then in 2023 wanted to get my ERA down from infinity, and I was assigned to pitch for the Austin Weirdos. And I met the Weirdos in Alpine, Texas in the last series of the season. And the team was pretty short-staffed, and they actually needed an arm. And I helped them out pitching the night before a doubleheader. And when I took the mound over at first base was Alex Westman. And I played with Alex, and he was very supportive in my living my dream to get my ERA down from infinity. And it was great having him as a teammate. He's a Pecos League veteran, and he's with Austin again in 2024. I think, Alex, where are you right now, Alex?
Well, I'm headed to Roswell, New Mexico on I-10 East, right? That's where I'm headed.
And what's the distance? Where are you traveling from this afternoon?
Tucson, Arizona. So it's about 500 miles.
I mean, this is Alex will be able to explain it better than me. He's a 4-year veteran of the Pecos League, but the Austin Weirdos played in Tucson last night, lost a close one, 10-9, and between the end of last night's game and 6:30 Central Time, they have to cover 500 miles driving from Tucson to Roswell. I don't know, Alex, can you talk a little bit about what it's like to do all that driving?
Well, you don't want to think about it too much, or it might overwhelm you. So you just kind of take it one minute at a time. You know what I mean? Just like baseball, you take that one pitch at a time, and then you'll get there eventually. As long as you leave early enough in the morning. Today we're trying to get there at 5:30, so we'll have an hour to get ready before the game. You know. So on days like today, for example, we are not going to hit BP on the field. We'll just hit BP in the cages, get ready to go in that hour. We don't have quite enough time to hit BP on the field. Drive all day.
Now if I'm not mistaken, Alex, your off-season work prepares you for all this driving, and it's probably good to note at this point that the Austin Weirdos are an all-road team. The Pecos League has 6 teams out west and 10 in the Mountain Division. 9 of the teams in the Mountain Division have homes, but the Austin Weirdos are an all-road team. So you're always on the road, you're always in hotels, but doesn't your off-season prepare you for a lot of this driving, Alex?
Yeah, well, in the off-season, this past off-season, I was a truck driver. I drove a truck, so I'm used to logging these miles, you know. But, you know, I mean, I could see why this would be rather intense for someone that doesn't drive a lot, you know. A lot of people are overwhelmed by driving, but it's really not too bad, you know, because I'm really looking forward to a baseball game. And that really makes it worth it.
Well, what do you? I don't. Do you have teammates that are with you sometimes? You're on your own. How do How do you pass the time? Both in the, I think you said you were you drive in the off season. How do you pass your time on the road when you have hours and hours in front of you? Do you think about baseball a lot?
Yeah, I do. I listen to Audible and Spotify. I listen to books, and music. Talk to people on the phone. So it goes by pretty quick when you do that. But the driving really is not that bad, because we have a baseball game, so we're really excited to get out there. We really look forward to the summer when it's not the summertime. That's prime time baseball season. It's right there in the summer. And we really live for the playing baseball right in the summer.
And maybe you can share with our listeners what it's like to be on an all-road baseball team. And I know last year for Austin, I think you became an all-road team. It was kind of an emergency. I think the team lost its home field, and it was a last-minute decision after a few home games. But this year it was planned. Can you talk more about what it's like being with 25 guys, traveling from town to town, and not having a home base for 2 months?
Yeah, so you just have to pack light, and you just expect to be on the road, so you're always moving. You carry your baseballs and all your equipment with you, your tee, and find a spot if you want to get extra work in. You look up D-bat, go to the field early. A lot of the teams are pretty nice. They'll let you show up in their cages during the day. But yeah, no, it can get crowded sometimes, but it's all right. It's a great time. You're around your buddies, so yeah, like get mad at somebody every once in a while, but it doesn't last very long.
What
Do you
keeps you
have
coming back?
Oh, go ahead, Bruce. Go ahead.
Sorry, what keeps you coming back every year? You've been in the league a couple of years now. You go back to 21, if I recall correctly. What keeps you coming back every year?
I'm just addicted to playing baseball, and this is the best baseball that I can find to participate in.
Love it.
And I want to be out there, and I love the whole experience. It's a nice break from reality. We're out here chasing the dream of pursuing professional baseball, and this is a good shot at it. There's pretty good talent this year. There's good talent in the league, and you can go play at like a local men's league, but it's not the same. They're not going to be throwing as hard as the guys here are. So yeah, I mean, you really feel the harder the pitcher's throwing, the more alive you feel. Put it that way.
Ooh. Interesting comment.
Any games? I know the Weirdos record it's better than last year when the team won just one game. You've won 5 games. Any games so far stick out in your mind that really brought you to life and made you really feel like you made the right decision to return again this year?
Yeah, our first series in Roswell was a lot of fun. We were able to win twice. It was nice to get back out there.
That hurt. That definitely hurt. I was in the opposing dugout, and that did hurt, Alex. But I was very quietly happy for you guys when you won those first 2 games.
Yeah, so it felt good to get back out there. And what other game? Well, the Tucson game last night was pretty close. I wouldn't consider that a bad loss, but it's still a loss. And then we did beat Tucson the last time that we were in town. So that was a pretty good game too. But yeah, no, this year our position guys are pretty darn good. It's our pitching that kind of struggles. It's hard to find good pitching in the league, so sometimes we have to have a position player out there.
Yeah, who are your standout position players?
Standout position players. Well, we have a really good shortstop this year from the Dominican Republic. He played in the Yankees organization for 5 years, I think, and they played on the Pirates as well. Single A, his name is Marcos Cabrera. So he's good to have around. You know, he can really play the field well. He looks really natural out there. He whips that ball over to first. You know, and he's a pretty good hitter too. So yeah, he's probably our best player this year. He's 22 years old.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of experience in organized ball. He was like you say, in the Yankees organization, got as high as A+ with Hudson Valley in 23.
Yeah. And how about, I think when you and I were talking earlier, you mentioned the managers in the Pecos League. Now you've played for 4 teams, but you've also played against teams both in the Mountain Division and in California. How do the managers stand out for you that are working in the Pecos League?
Yeah, so I started on the Alpine Cowboys 21, 22, and then halfway through 2022, I asked to get traded to the Weimar Hormigas. Jonathan Garza being the manager over there. And then I came back and played for Jonathan Garza for the first half of the next year. Monterey, California, and then halfway through that season, I went to the Weirdos. So yeah, I played for 3 different managers in the Pecos, and it's definitely a step up from college ball and college summer league baseball. You know, these guys know what they're talking about. You know, they each have their own system for doing things. You know, yeah, it's a good contrast. You know, so yeah, the organization over on Alpine is pretty nice. You know, they run that tight ship. It's paying off for them this year. It's pretty good.
I mean, so is Sean Persky's the manager there? Was he the manager there in 2021 also?
Yeah, he was. He's been the manager over there for a good couple of years now.
I mean, the Cowboys are 32-2 right now, and you've played there. And when I was in Roswell this spring, you know, the legends grow about Alpine and Tucson and how many dozens of players they bring to training camp. Can you talk about, from your experience, both being in Alpine and playing against Alpine, what makes them stand out as such a top team in the Pecos League?
Well, they have a pretty good pool to choose from. I mean, Tucson does as well. You know, like this year at spring training, the Tucson Swirls had 69 or 70 players for spring training. You know, I mean, that's enough for 4 teams. So really choose who you want there. And Alpine also brings in a lot of people for spring training. That makes it very competitive. Yeah, they have transportation. They have a bus. They get paid. So, you know, who wouldn't want to go play for that team? Oh, but the crowd in Alpine, Texas is pretty good as well. The town of Alpine, Texas comes out every game and shows their support. You know, we were there in the 4th of July. They had over 1,000 people there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun.
Bigger crowds always get the kids jazzed up, that's for sure.
Yeah, they're always asking for baseballs and broken bats. So broken bat, you give it right to the kid. You know, it makes them happy.
Right.
So I have a question, Alex. So when I was in Roswell, as you know, when a player breaks a bat, the players autograph the bat and they raffle them off to try to raise a little money to supplement player salaries. You guys don't have a home field. What happens to your broken bats?
Yeah, we just give them away straight away, man. Hopefully brighten someone's day. At least that's what I think. I mean, I think there's one guy on one of my teams a couple of years ago said he was going to make a chair on all his broken bats. Sit on an old man, I guess. But once I break it, I just give it away.
Gonna make a front porch rocker out of it.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. Got a note here to talk about Chandler bats. Is that the bat that you use? Is that your chosen equipment?
That's my favorite brand for sure.
Tell me about them.
Well, the Chandler bats. So I ordered three Chandler bats back in 2021, and they lasted me until this year. So that's pretty good quality if you ask me. You get 1, 2, 3, 3.5 years out of three bats. It's pretty good. We have a player on our team that has a big leaguer bat, and it's a legitimate big league Chandler bat. And that bat definitely the best bat that I've ever held. I got to hit with it the other day, and the ball really jumps off that bat. Tell just by the way that it sounds. Barrels don't dent on it. That's how you know it's really good wood. Barrel does not dent. Yeah, man, I absolutely love Chandler bats.
Chandler is out of Port St. Lucie, Florida. I had a chance to get into their website a little bit, see a little bit about how they operate. It's my understanding that the company is owned by Giannis Cespedes. Is that correct?
Yeah, that sounds right.
We found him. He's been away for a while, but we found him. Yeah, that's my understanding. Giannis Cespedes owns that company. But let me ask you, you can tell a difference between what I think you just referred to a minute ago as a big league bat to a lot of the bats that are used by the average player in the Pecos League. Can you give me an idea about the difference in construction? Is it the quality of the wood? Is it the way the bat's honed? What gives it more jump off the bat? Do you know?
Well, it's the trees that they start with. The top big league wood is in its own class, and right below that, the minor league wood that the companies give the affiliated minor leaguers. And below that, the wood that's sent to indie ball players. So they the big league lumber, they take it from very specific parts of the world, and then the way that they cut it too. On the lathes that they use, the lathes are more precise. Significantly more precise, actually. So when you look at the cut, at the end of the bat, there won't be any rough patches and smooth, and then look at the bottom of the bat, like on the knob, it'll also be smooth versus, bat you go get at Dick's Sporting Goods, might have a couple crooked grains in there. The top wood doesn't have any crooked grains. It's all straight. It's all packed extremely tightly as well. And then, further on in the construction process, they have their certain hardening processes. Like Old Hickory, for example, steel presses their premium bats. Chandler does something similar. So that the barrel on them gets so hard that when you hit with it, when you really dig into one, the barrel won't develop any dents from hitting a baseball. You won't see any seam marks. But if you go and get, say, a Marucci bat, Dick's Sporting Goods, for $160, which is what they are if you don't go through a representative, of the company, it will dent on the barrel. I guarantee you that. That Dick's Sporting Goods wood, it dents on the barrel. It's not the same as what the top level players are getting. So that's my kind of that feel for it.
Wow. That's great insight, Alex. So I want to ask you a little bit more, if we could just jump back to being a road team. Now, I know you said I think when we talked in preparation for the show, I think you said you got hurt for a little while. So you've been on the field, you've been in the dugout. And I think one of the things that in baseball, when you get to be on the home team, you have fans that are supporting you. How does Austin, being on the road all the time, never having a home game, living out of a tightly packed suitcase, as you said, driving all those miles, how do you personally keep your spirit up and your determination up and your focus up when you're always on the road and your teammates? See, what happens, whether it's before the games, after the games, to help keep you guys motivated when you never have a home crowd and you're always packing and unpacking suitcases?
Well, a lot of us just have a positive attitude, and that really helps. We take care of ourselves as much as we can on the baseball field. Like, for example, I have a YMCA membership, so I go to the YMCA whenever I can. A lot of times it's before the game, so you just kind of start your game day process, only it's in a different place. You don't have a home field, but it's all right. Save up some money in the off season, you can come out, spend it on baseball and food. But yes, staying organized on the road definitely helps a lot. You don't want to have too much stuff. You just want just barely enough to get by in terms of extra clothes and all that. So yeah, we just have a positive attitude. It'll be all right. It's really not too bad. We're taking off from work to go play baseball, proud. Try to put up.
So are there some? I mean, so you've made the circuit, I think, probably once already to pretty much every place in the Mountain Division. What are the cities that you really look forward to visiting, and what are the ones you don't look forward to quite as much? Do you have any favorites?
I really like playing in Santa Fe because it's a lot different from where I grew up, Wisconsin. My other favorite field is Alpine Coconut Field.
Right, that's a historic field. That was built in 1947.
Yeah, you can feel it when you're out there. It has a certain energy and aura about it. A lot of players played there. You can definitely tell, like in terms of how it feels. It's a nice field, and they take care of. They're prideful of it. If you're on the Cowboys, then you're out there working on the field quite a bit. And it looks better at the end of the summer than it does at the beginning of the summer because of how much the Alpine Cowboys work on. It gets watered pretty much every day. So yeah.
So Santa Fe and Alpine. Do you have any lesser favorites? I don't want to put down any cities, but are there places that you look less forward to for whatever reason, being on the road all the time?
Tucson's not my favorite just because it's so hot. It gets up to 115 degrees.
Oh, wow.
When we're out there hitting in the afternoon.
Right.
So just for that reason right there, I'd say Tucson is probably my least favorite place to play, even though it is a great field.
Well, honestly, speaking of places to play, the Austin Weirdos, of course, are on the road this week going to Roswell and Santa Fe. Tickets are available at each venue or online at pecosleague.com. You can catch all the action if you're not in the area at pecosleague.tv as well. And finally, if you're a hardcore baseball fan, you need to join the Society for American Baseball Research, the premier baseball community, offering an amazing baseball buffet of options to explore your fandom. SABR boasts more than 35 different research communities, over 70 regional chapters, and innumerable opportunities to connect with baseball minds across the world. For more information, go to sabr.org/join today. Evan, any last licks?
Well, we just should probably update everybody. The Roswell Invaders, where I started the season, are now in the second wild card position in the Mountain Division with a 15-19 record. So they've got playoffs on their mind. The North Platte 80s. We talked to manager Todd Everleth earlier this year. The 80s are 6-26. But recently, one 80s pitcher and reliever pitched a 2-0 shutout the other night to give the 80s their 6th win of the year. I was astounded to hear there was actually shutouts in the Pecos League when I saw that box score. And
it's simply a 2-0 shutout. Wow.
Right. So but the 80s are optimistic that they're going to win some more games. I talked to Todd the other day, and they're looking up for the home stretch to try to win some games.
I'll tell you what. Well, Alex, this has been great. I appreciate you doing this with us today. Drive safe out there, and whack them around this week, would you?
Hey, yeah, it sounds good. Thanks for having me on.
I appreciate you. Thank you for coming down.
Thank you, Alex. Drive safe. How many more miles you got to go, Alex?
Probably 400.
400 more miles to go.
400. Okay. So we got him early in the day.
Oh man. That's a commute. I used to do a super commute to work every day, but that's better than mine. I'm impressed. Well, anyway, for Evan Katz and Alex Westman, I am Bruce McClure. Thanks everybody for listening, and we're going to see you next week.